Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, DRC, and tonight we are crowning another Perfect League champion. And we have got a wonderful matchup for you tonight as the Detroit Fury, captained and managed by Doc, will take on the Osgood Senators, managed by Tech 15. His now record fifth time to the final dance. Fifth time as an owner to the Perfect League World Series, spread across two different teams. Heck of a matchup that we have for you tonight. We'll dive into who the teams are. We'll dive into how those teams stitch together their wins both in the regular season and in the postseason. But first, we have to start the stream on a somber tone. As we look at the relegation standings, we see that everyone's favorite Perfect League team besides their own, number one in everyone's heart when they're not rooting for themselves, the Naperville Nomads, or as of last night, the Naperville Yes Mads, are headed the way of the Dodo Bird, being relegated out of Perfect League after an 80-82 season. Just could not get over the hump and put together the Saturday that was needed to land back in the postseason, and therefore, I'm going to need your guys' help tonight. I'm going to need your guys' help tonight. So I've been doing these Perfect League World Series broadcasts for months now. I think at this point I've stitched together 3 to 4 good months of broadcasts. Now there were the ones that happened on my own channel before we got picked up by the mothership. There's been the many that we've had here on the mothership. And of all the broadcasts I've ever done, the absolute worst one that I've ever done was the last time that I was relegated from Perfect. It was difficult to capture the energy, difficult to bring the fire, bring the hype. When every time we're navigating screens, I'm getting reminded of the frustration that was the week that kicked me out. So you guys are going to keep me honest tonight. You guys are going to help bring that energy, bring the fire, help make this the best broadcast we've ever had, because we've got one heck of a matchup. One heck of a matchup tonight. But before we get the matchup, I just have one visual aid. And of course, whenever your team doesn't succeed, there's a million reasons. You as a manager didn't put them in position to succeed. This player, that player didn't do what they needed to do. It's never one player's fault. And with that said, it's all Ty Cobb's fault. What you see in front of you right now is a plot chart of all the Ty Cobbs that have ever set foot in Perfect League, that gathered over 500 plate appearances. And on the x-axis, from left to right, you have on-base percentage. On the y-axis, from bottom to top, you have slugging percentage. And my Ty Cobb is sitting right here on this red dot. And I got to tell you, he was not a popular guy in the clubhouse last night after we were eliminated. But enough about me. We've got 14 minutes left to set up this matchup, so let's get to the task at hand. Let's quit wallowing in DRC's failure and talk about the successes that Doc and Tech 15 have had getting to this point. And we will start with Doc himself as we load up this sim, which will be an off day before the World Series starts. Detroit Fury. So we'll break it down like we always do. And as you guys know, the first thing we look at every single stream, the very first thing we touch is runs scored. And we see that Doc is sitting here 19th out of 20. There's only one team in the NC that scored less runs than Doc. This might be a stream low. I don't know that we've ever seen a team score as few runs as this and make it this far. So that tells me that we need to look further. This team doesn't score runs, but here they are in the World Series. So how did they get here? Well, look at that. They don't give up runs either. So even with a 19th best run scoring rate, we have a second best run prevention rate at 608, giving us a positive plus 28 run differential on the season. And as part of that, part of what makes that tick is a very strong defense. A defensive efficiency approaching .72, which is silly elite. A zone rating of plus 12. So they are catching the ball when it's hit. Home road, we see some drastic splits here. Drastic splits. 691 at home. If you go into, let's see the name of the stadium. You go into Fury Field, you're not winning very often. In fact, over the course of the season, only 25 times did the Fury lose at home. So that's something to watch for here. They are a very difficult team to beat at their home stadium. On the road, though, 432. So only 35 road victories for the Fury. Can they pick up a road victory here tonight? We shall find out. Now let's look at the ballpark. We've got a classic lefty cheese park here. 1.1 on the average, 1.1 on the homers. We're minning out righties. And then from a gaps perspective, instead of just rolling neutral, Doc's putting a little flair on this one. He's bringing it down 2 percentage points to .98 for the doubles and .98 for the triples. Let's look at the players. We'll sort by plate appearances. So what we see when we do this is we've got 4 everyday players on this team. Shoeless Joe, absolute must for a lefty cheese team at this point. Ty Cobb, we just talked about him. He is not in my good graces right now. Tony Gwynn and Wade Boggs. We've got Griffey and Mays splitting center field time. We've got Ozzie and Belanger splitting shortstop time. But I think that could have something to do with the next guy we're going to talk about. We have got a new Jackie. We've got a new Jackie here. Historical legend Jackie. And he was picked up in August. So the playing time obviously impacted as Jackie made it to the team. As we check his fielding stats, we see that Jackie was mostly logging starts at second base, picking up a handful of starts at third base as well. And then another thing you'll notice here is we've got Garrick and Henderson on the roster. Now, Garrick and Henderson did not play during the regular season, so why are they here now? Well, Henderson, you could make a lot of arguments there that you get to the postseason, you don't need quite as many arms, and so you pull up Henderson as a special purpose asset there in the postseason to steal a base as needed, and Garrick could just be an additional bench bat as you need a lefty bat off the bench to come in against those difficult righties at the end of a game, Hoffman, Mariano Rivera, and have a chance at putting one into the seats. Let's talk pitching. So the thing you'll notice here is the 2 highest innings earners for the Fury did not start much this year. So Pedro Martinez, 165 innings, only 2 starts. Walter Johnson, 159 innings, only 4 starts. So we have some active management here. We have some utilization of putting Pedro and putting Walter in position to be successful. And look at the sparkling ERAs on these two here. 2.83 on Pedro, 2.48 on Walter. It's by no accident that Doc was able to prevent runs as well as he did. He was working all season long to put these guys in the right position to be successful, and be successful they were. As we scale down from Pedro and Walter, we see Warren Spahn and Tom Glavine both picking up over 100 innings apiece each, with Spahn carrying a heavier load there. Both of them with dominant performances as well. Spahn at 3.31 on the ERA, carrying a fire emoji into the World Series here. We've got Glavine at 3.14. I mean, it's hard to find a pitcher who didn't pitch well on this team, but Fried and Pettit would be the 2 that you look at. We've got a load of lefties on this team. We'll see what the final roster looks like in 8 minutes. All right, rather quickly here, let's look at the path. So round 1, Round 1, Doc and his Detroit Fury take down Max Fire 3-1. Round 2, they take down B-Jam and his Elysian Fields 9. Recent winner of the Best Team Name of the Year award. Takes them down in 6. And then puts some style points on in the semis with a sweep of the PGH Beaches. So the Fury able to get their pitching rested, able to get the players that they want into this series. Let's talk history. So Doc was an early game perfect league stalwart. You look at 2032. I want to say 2030 was the first perfect league. Don't quote me on that. But very quickly, Doc found his way into the perfect league and was really making a lot of noise. First week there, 96 wins, 92, 97. The relegation comes on an 82-win season. So definitely no huge fall off there. Just some bad RNG at the bad time. Kicks you out of perfect. Goes down to Diamond and immediately puts up 114 wins and works his way right back in. Proceeds to log 95, 103, 88 wins, 97 wins. And then another 80-win season has him out of perfect. And then he went down. He went down into the DLL abyss, which has held down a number of teams, mine included. Mac Jack's another example. And it's been a long time since he's worked his way back. Now, he did work his way back in 2065 after a DLL win. But that found his least success ever in the Perfect League with a 73 and 89 season. But a couple more Diamond seasons, and here he is right back at it. A second-place wild card finish, and here in the Perfect League World Series, Doc is searching for his first World Series championship. So let's quickly move on to the Osgood Senators. I will follow the same path. We'll do it slightly quicker here. So runs scored 14th. 14th in the league. So we have Doc at 19 and then the Osgood Senators at 14. Neither of these teams scoring a ton of runs. So will we see a low-scoring World Series? We shall see. Now on the run prevention side, we have the Osgood Senators at 6th. So another team without a huge positive run differential here. What do we have here? Is that even 20 runs? 18 runs? So a comparatively low run differential teams in the World Series here tonight. Defensively, the Senators, dissimilar to Doc, are not the strongest defensive team. We see them right around average. A defensive efficiency slightly under 0.7, and then a zone rating at -10. Home road, as we look at those splits there, pretty even. So 46 wins at home, 44 on the road. 44 wins on the road is a very tough task, and that was absolutely paramount to driving the Senators to the finish that they had, given that they had somewhat of a lukewarm home record. Only 46 wins on the lower end of what we normally see here in the Perfect League World Series. Let's look at the players. So here we've got some more everyday players. We've got Ty Cobb, we've got Shoeless Joe, we've got Tony Gwynn, Rogers Hornsby, Nap Lajoie, Ozzie Smith, and then we've got Griffin Mays split in center field. We've got Hank Aaron and Stan Musial split in left field. And then we've got Jackie being deployed pretty interestingly. I saw this Jackie here, and if you look at his fielding, he's really a utility player extraordinaire. 16 starts at shortstop, 26 at third base, 18 starts at second base, and then a defensive replacement 65 different times at first base. So he moves Jackie around quite a bit as kind of a Swiss Army knife type player. Pitching-wise, we've got a very classic and traditional deployment here. Call it the 5 horsemen. And the 5 horses that Tech is choosing are Walter Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Warren Spahn, Roger Clemens, Tom Seaver. You see all of them deployed almost exclusively as traditional starters. Here you see Spahn with 1 relief appearance. Perhaps there's a story behind that. But a very traditional pitching alignment. Let's talk about the path. And I think we skipped over the ballpark, but I skipped over it because it's completely neutral. So right down the middle. So we've got Doc with a lefty cheese stadium, and then Tech with a totally neutral build there. Let's look at the path. So what you see here is a TBD whiteout. They take out Marksman, and he's carrying the tag BPPE-TBD. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but assuming that does mean that he's within TBD. That's a TBD win in round 1 against Markman, a very good player. Round 2 takes down the Bingos in 7 games, another player carrying the TBD moniker, and then takes down the Firebirds, led by Ozzie. Ozzie 7227 takes them down in 6. So 3 series, 3 opponents with the TBD tag, and 3 victories for the Osgood Senators. The bad news for him is he has run out of TBD opponents, as the Elysian Fields 9 did not make it here. So he's not going to have a chance to go 4 for 4. He'll have to take down a member of the DLL instead. Let's look at the team history here. So this is not Tech's main team. His main team is the Ottawa Hammerheads, and we've seen them here 4 times in the Perfect League World Series. This is one of his alt teams, the Osgood Senators here, and this is their 2nd time up in Perfect. First time didn't do horribly. 82 and 80, but not enough to make the playoffs. 3 seasons in Diamond later, and they're back. 90 wins and searching for that first Perfect League title on this team. And I believe, if memory serves, he would be the first player to have multiple wins on different accounts. So no one has ever won the Perfect League with one account and then won it again with a different account, as far as I know. So that is the framing, guys. We got 45 seconds very quickly in the chat. Who is going to win? And in how many games are they going to do so? Are you going with Tech and his experience here in the Perfect League World Series? He's been here 4 times. He's won it once. Do you think that he's going to pick up his first title on this team, 2nd title overall? Or do you think Doc, tourney player extraordinaire, early meta Perfect League stalwart, is Doc going to take down his first Perfect League title? Either way, the team itself is getting their first Perfect League title tonight, regardless of who wins. We've got Doc in 5, Senators in 7. Let me get all the way up to the top. Modenhall says Doc in 6, Tech 6, Senators 7. Tech in 7, Doc in 5, Doc in 7, Tech 6, Doc in 6, Tech in 6. Senators in 7. We're all winners because we're talking baseball. Now that's the optimism we need as I'm grieving the relegation of the Naperville Nomads. That's what I'm talking about. Let me turn on hide scores, as we are about to have some baseball here, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to have it. Oof is going with the cheeseless extraordinaires in 4. They are quite cheeseless. When you see a team rolling out 5 traditional starters, making it this far in this stage of the meta, that's something. That is definitely something. Fabick's got Doc in 4. As we look at our matchup analyzer in the bottom right corner of our screen, we see that the Senators are carrying the advantage in most offensive categories: average, on base, slugging, OPS, whereas Doc is taking all of the defense and all of the pitching. Defensive play percentage, ERA, FIP, WHIP, favorable pitching matchups. Look at that, Doc with a 58%. It's a very high total. That just speaks to the active management that Doc put forth this season. Sergeant Mushroom in 10, says Yuka. Hot take there. Real hot take. All right, guys, let's get it started. It is time to get it started. Game 1 sim loading up right now. Let's crown a champion, and let's enjoy the ride. Here we go. We start out in Detroit with the Detroit Fury playing home. You see here, we've got a beautiful aesthetic here of Fenway Park. Odd to have Fenway Park in Detroit, but I won't question it. And the first thing that we'll notice here is we've got Chris Sale on the hill. Sale on the hill for Detroit Fury. Now remember, this ballpark is a lefty cheese park. lefties are going to perform better in it. And we see that the Senators and Tech have loaded those lefties at the top of the lineup. Cobb, Gwynn, Shula starting this game off, and then very quickly a cavalcade of righties, starting with Hornsby. We've got a fire Hank right after Hornsby. We'll see if that fire comes to bear here. And then on Doc's side, we have got a boatload of lefties. Count them, 6. 6 lefties being matched with a couple of righties in Hornsby and Jackie, and then Ozzie Smith. Let's get this game underway. Chris Sale pitching for the Fury, pitching to Ty Cobb. The wind and the pitch. Swing! And a miss, strike 3. We'll get a nice quick cheer out of the Detroit home fans here. 1 up and 1 down. Uh-oh, trouble time. Trouble time early here in this one. Detroit has loaded the bases in the bottom of the first. We've got nobody out. Uh-oh. We got our first standing O from the home fans. As the Detroit Fury and their fans feel an opportunity to take an early lead in this one. Rogers, Hornsby at the plate. Facing Warren Spawn. Bases loaded with Fury. The pitch. Fly ball right field. Catch made. Throw to the plate. He's going to try to score. Save. Make it 1-0 Detroit Fury with 1 out here in the first inning. They strike early and are looking to strike again here. Spawn will pitch to Wade Boggs, and this is the opportunity to get our first use of our matchup analyzer. So what we're going to do is we're going to load up our pitching matchup, and we're going to load up our hitting matchup and see what we think's going to happen. So let's load up Warren Spawn versus left-handed hitters. Let's load up Wade Boggs versus left-hand pitchers. And as a reminder for anyone unaware, these statistics you see in the bottom right corner are observed stats from Perfect League over the past 3 weeks. We keep it fresh. We keep it rolling past 3 weeks. We drop off that 4th week just so that we're capturing any evolving meta there. But for the past 3 weeks, this is what each of these players has done in the Perfect League. And as you see here, we'd have a slight advantage for Spawn as he's pitched very well versus left-handed batters, and Boggs slightly struggling versus left-hand pitching with that bat value, that bat runs value per 600 plate appearances going beneath 0. But this ballpark is certainly going to help him in that. And as we see with a 2-1 count, Boggs is going to make contact here. Wind in the pitch. Line drive up the middle. Base hit. Make it 2-0 Fury. Oh, and he's going to try to take third, and he does. A very aggressive base running play by Tony Gwynn. Catches the Senators' Ozzie Smith by surprise, and he steals an extra bag. Make it 2-0 Fury within a rally still going here in the first. Oh my goodness, time warp. Hope you guys didn't get whiplash on the other side of the broadcast here, but we are all the way into the 9th. And it's 5-0 Fury. 5-0 Fury. We've got Pedro Martinez face the franchise on in relief. As we saw in our framing of this game, Pedro Martinez led the team in innings pitched, but only started 4 games. So the box score will tell the tale of how many of these innings Pedro pitched here, but my gut tells me it's going to be a good number of them, and he's being given the opportunity, at least to this point, to finish this game off. He's working a 5-run lead, and he's got Willie Mays, Nap Lajoie, and Ivan Rodriguez between him and a Game 1 victory for the Fury. Wind and the pitch. Fly ball, deep right field, back. Yeah, ball's gone! The Senators get on the board here in the 9th with an opposite field home run by Willie Mays. Fury still up by 4, but the crowd a bit shaken. 3rd home run of the postseason for Willie Mays. This one goes 396 feet to a part of the ballpark where it just fence scraped its way on out of here. Thought for a second that Tony Gwynn would be able to reach up and make a play there, similar to catches that we've seen in Fenway history, right in that same part of the ballpark, but it was not meant to be. Now 2 away. We still have Pedro in the game, and he's facing Ty Cobb. Nap Lajoie has reached, and he is now on third base. Let's set up this matchup as it could be our very last matchup in this game. We set up Ty Cobb versus right, and then we're going to marry that with Pedro Martinez versus left. In the bottom right corner of your screen, you see that this is a significant advantage for Ty Cobb. As much as I hate him for his performance on my team this week, he still is producing huge numbers versus right-hand pitching. And in this ballpark, which only aids him, the advantage is even more so. 2 strikes, 2 outs. Detroit Fury and their fans 1 strike away from a Game 1 victory. Here's the pitch. Strike 3 called! The Fury have done it. Take a 1-0 series lead on a convincing 5-1 Game 1 victory. They gather in their delightfully purple jerseys right out in front of home plate and celebrate this one. As the home team, you always want to pick up that victory to preserve your home field advantage and avoid yourself from really being playing on your heels there in Game 2. And that's exactly what the Furies have done tonight as you hear fireworks going off beyond the left field bleachers. Let's check out the box score as we've got 6 minutes before our next sim comes in. As you see from the win expectancy chart, it started for the Fury and really never turned back. 5-run first inning put them in the catbird seat, and they never let go. Not yielding a run until that run we saw in the 9th inning with Willie Mays going Oppo Taco style. Let's look at the pitching box score. So Chris Sale goes 6 batters for the Detroit Fury. He was able to retire 4 of them and then hand the game off to Liam Hendriks. Liam Hendriks comes in, pitches to 10 batters of his own, throwing 48 pitches, not giving up any runs. Those 48 pitches will likely render him unavailable until Game 3 of this series. And the same can be said for Trevor Hoffman, who came in, got through 10 outs in 13 batters, striking out 7, an extremely dominant performance for Trevor Hoffman. And then Pedro Martinez comes in somewhat of a stopper role, pitches 2 innings, throws 30 pitches, gives up the 1 run, but nails down the victory. On the other side, we have Warren Spahn, who was horrendous in his 8 batters that he faced, giving up 5 runs. So it's hard to know if this was a quick hook, an extremely quick hook, or if this was an 8 batter face max here. But either way, Spahn came in, faced 8 batters, let 5 of them score, and then gave up the mound to Roger Clemens, who came in and did great. 56 pitches. It's going to render him unavailable until at least Game 3. Didn't give up any runs, only gave up 1 hit. Seaver and Feller come on to finish it out, but by then, the damage had already been done. So Game 1 goes to the Fury. Let's update our score bug in the top right. And I often give you guys a choice to decide if we're right in Detroit, if we're right in Fury. But Fury is just such a cool team name. We're right in Fury. I'm not leaving this one up. I'm sorry, guys. It's Fury. That's what we're doing. Not saying that anyone was going to lobby for Detroit anyway. But it's got to be Fury. It just does. All right. We are 1-0. Let's set up Game 2. Game 2, we have got Osgood advertising Steve Carlton as a starter. And remember, Game 2 will be our last game in the Lefty Cheese Park before we move to Osgood's neutral. And opposing Steve Carlton, we've got Detroit Fury advertising Warren Spahn as the starter to oppose him. So we will see what types of pitching deployment we actually get. Let's take a quick look at the bullpens. Both teams were somewhat taxed in Game 1. Let's see what it looks like. So we see Pedro down at 40%. He's unavailable. Hendricks and Hoffman totally blown out there, down at 0. So this game will need to be completed through a combination of Mariano Rivera, David Price, Walter Johnson, and Feller. Now, this is where the advantage of them having so many off days after they were able to sweep their semifinal comes into the favor for the Detroit Fury. Also, notice when we set up this series, there were no less than 6 lefties. I think there was even 7 lefties. And as this series starts and as these rosters are locked down, you see that quantity of lefties has shrunk dramatically. And into this game comes a cavalcade of righties. So we'll start out with Warren Spahn here, likely in Game 2. It is a fire Spahn. In my anecdotal experience, I seem to perceive that fire pitchers are less impactful than fire hitters, but it's probably all just false positives anyway. So 1 minute to the sim. As you look at the bottom of your screen, you can see scrolling all of the delightful perfect teams that found their way into the Pumas lair, the relegation Pumas lair, and are on their way back to Diamond. Yeah, that's correct, Jefferson Jim. It's just current streaks. But as anyone who's watched these broadcasts, I can't tell you how many countless times we've seen a fire emojied player just take over and be a huge thorn in the side of the other player. Yeah, me and Cobb are not on speaking terms right now, but we'll see if we end up with a fire Cobb tonight. Detroit Fury's rocking a fire Boggs right now. After this next sim, we'll get into this week's numbers in Perfect League, and they were honestly very, very interesting. There is a surprise hitter. You know what? I'll let you guys guess it. There was a surprise hitter as our number 2 hitter in Perfect League this week. Who is it? I don't have any prizes for you, so you're only playing for pride. But who do you think the number 2 hitter is? Number 1 is Shoeless Joe, so no surprise there. But see who can guess who the number 2 hitter was in Perfect League this week. We got Dishnet saying Ruth. Real Teddy-O saying Bonds. New Zealand with Cap Anson. Bird saying Barry Bonzi. Hank Aaron says Jefferson Jim. Got Chuck with Willie Mays. Crash with Richie Ashburn. Little Clemente. Love. Another Ashburn mention. Al Kaline from Tom Buddha Man. I love it. All right, we will get to that after this next sim. And we'll look at all of the top hitters from Perfect League this week. And I'll show you who the surprise is for number 2. All right, we've got a lot at stake here. Do we have the Fury going up 2-0 and carrying that significant series lead into Osgood, or does Osgood steal a game? When you're starting the series on the road, all you want is 1 out of 2. So they can be riding high if they can come up with a victory here. We do see lineup changes. So the Senators are not stacking lefties at the top of the lineup this game. Nope. They're going Cobb, Hornsby, Gwynn at the top. So that guarantees that they get a heavily advantaged Hornsby at bat versus Spahn, even if Spahn were a 3-batter face minimum here, or maximum. We see Shoeless move down in the lineup. Shoeless moved down to 6, which is interesting given the ballpark here and given what we know about his production in Perfect League. And we've got Doc rocking what appears to be the exact same lineup he rocked last game. So let's see what Fire Spawn does for the Fury and how long he sticks around in this one. He'll start off this game against Ty Cobb. Here's the wind and the pitch. Fly ball right field. Long run. That ball's going to drop. That is a leadoff single for Ty Cobb of the Osgood Senators off of Warren Spawn. The trouble continues. So Hornsby reaches first, seemingly on a single, which pushes Cobb to third. And so now we've got 2 aboard, nobody out, and Tony Gwynn stepping up here for the Senators. Wind and the pitch. Line drive. Base hit down the left field line off the third base bag. Heading to third. Holy cow, look at that short throw. That was fielded by Shoeless Joe Jackson about 180 feet out in left field after it took a funny carom off that very close sidewall that you know as Fenway is known for. He fields the carom, and Ozzie Smith took a very aggressive path out to be the relay man, and Shoeless Joe winds and fires almost Manny Ramirez style. I guess Ozzie Smith would be Manny Ramirez in this example, but he winds and fires, and Ozzie Smith captures that throw and cuts it off before it heads back into the infield. The net of it is an RBI double for Tony Gwynn, making it 1-0 Senators, and we've still got runners second and third and nobody out. Make it 2-0 Senators. And now we're in the top of the second. We've got a pitching change. So for the Detroit Fury, in comes Walter Johnson. And he's in to face Ty Cobb with Pudge on second and 2 away. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit. Around third is Pudge. He's going to try to score. The throw all the way through. Not in time. Make it 3-0 Senators as they come through with a clutch 2-out RBI single off the bat of Ty Cobb here in the second. Bottom 2. Chance for the Fury to get back into this one. We'll start with Joe Maurer. Steve Carlton on the mound, which is a really tough customer for left-handed batters. Let's show you what that looks like first. So in the bottom right corner of your screen, you can see Steve Carlton's numbers versus left-handed batters. An incredible, elite 2.68 FIP, a 1.11 WHIP. Both of those numbers significantly better than perfect league average. The K per 9, 4 better than league average at 11.6. Walks per 9, below league average, exactly where you'd want them, and then a very tough customer to homer off of, only 0.87 home runs allowed per 9 innings pitched. And as we stare at that Detroit Fury lineup of 6 lefties plus Ozzie Smith, this is going to be a tall order for them to close down this 3-run gap here for as long as Steve Carlton's in this game. But the Fury have a little rally working here with Hornsby aboard on second base, Boggs trailing him at first, and Maurer at the plate. The pitch. Swing! And a miss, strike 3. A huge strikeout from Steve Carlton to get the first out of this inning. Very next batter is Jackie Robinson. People have a huge interest in this card, one of the rarer cards. So let's go ahead and throw up his statistics so we can see what he has been doing versus left-hand pitching. As we look at them, you see that he's a little bit better than a league average bat. 3.18 bat runs batting per 600 plate appearances. So a little bit better than league average with the bat and elite with the glove. Put it together and you've got an extremely valuable card. And that's exactly what the Fury are hoping happens here, as they need a hit with runner in scoring position. Wind in the pitch. Fly ball left field. Back to the wall. Outfielder back. Makes the grab. Unbelievable. It almost looked like he went through the wall for a moment there, but makes the catch coming in. Quickly throws to third base, preventing any advancement from Rogers Hornsby. But Jackie Robinson just missed tying this game with a deep drive to the monster in left. That ends the Fury rally in the second, and here we go to the third, and we've got a rally for the Senators. And as I was eyeballing the lineup, I was questioning the placement of Shoeless Joe Jackson at number 6. But here he is, finding himself in a primo RBI opportunity, 2 aboard and 1 away, facing Walter Johnson. The wind-up, the pitch, line drive, base hit into the corner in right field, right around Pesky's pole. 1 run scores. Here comes a second, the throw to the plate, not in time. Make it 5-0 Senators as Shoeless Joe Jackson clears the bases with a ringing double down the right field line. Bottom 5. Fury looking for a spark. Down 5 runs. They've only dented the score sheet with a single hit so far. And here's Ken Griffey, the pitch. Fly ball! Deep center field. That's going to one-hop the wall. Griffey on his horse around first. He'll get to second. He's not stopping there. Heading to third and sliding in with a 2-out, bases empty triple. Gets a nice little ovation from the crowd as they are trying to cheer on the home team to their first run in this game. Griffey does not score. We go bottom 6, though. And the Fury are looking to strike. Shoeless Joe Jackson aboard. Ty Cobb at the plate. The pitch. Fly ball right field. Base hit. Shoeless Joe gets the second. He'll hold there. We've now got 2 on and nobody out here for the Fury as they are looking to cut into that 5-run lead. Very next batter, Tony Gwynn. And listen to the Fury faithful right now. They are hungry for a perfect league World Series. They got used to going to the perfect league playoffs every season in early meta and have been dying for this opportunity ever since. And you can hear the excitement, hear the anticipation as they're trying to root their team back into this one. 3-1 count on Gwynn. The pitch. Little blooper in the infield. Heading over is the shortstop, Ozzie Smith. He will make the grab, and that's 1 away with the infield fly rule taking effect on that one. Up next, Rogers Hornsby. Full count on him. The pitch. Ball 4. They are now loaded for the Fury. And they're loaded for Wade Boggs. But it's not just any Boggs. It's Fire Boggs. And he's got a 3-0 count. 3-0 count, his team down 5 runs, bases loaded. Would the Fury be crazy enough to give him the green light here? The pitch. Ball 4! Steve Carlton walks in the first run of the game. Pretty sure that's a no-no when you're nursing a 5-0 lead, but it's now 5-1. And it brings up Joe Maurer. Full count on Joe Maurer. Shane Bieber into the game. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. A huge and much needed strikeout from the elite flame-throwing reliever. And now there's 2 away. We're going to have to set this one up. This is a huge moment in this game right here. Shane Bieber versus Wright. You see the elite numbers. Jackie Robinson versus Wright in this stadium, which favors left-handed batters and nerfs out right-handed batters. You would have to say this matchup tilts towards the pitcher, but can Jackie Robinson come through with a big hit here? Any sort of single is going to plate 2. Any extra base is going to plate 3. Let's see what happens. The pitch. Ball 4! The second walked-in run of this game makes it 5-2. And that brings up Ken Griffey Jr. Now, for as good as Bieber is versus right, he doesn't have nearly the same swagger versus left. And as we look at Ken Griffey Jr., the thing that stands out in his profile is his ability to put the ball over the fence. Especially here in this ballpark, which favors the left-handed batters. He's got an 0-2 count on him, trying to work his way back into this at-bat. The pitch to Ken Griffey. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Huge strikeout by Shane Bieber will leave the bags jacked and preserve the lead for the time being for the Osgood Senators. in a heart-stopping 6th inning. Bottom 7. Fury back at it. Still Bieber on the mound. And up trops Ty Cobb. We've got Shoeless Joe on first. Full count. The pitch. Little looper. Base hit right field. Shoeless Joe gets the second. He's not stopping there. Heading to third. There will be no throw. Runners at the corners now with 1 away. They are chasing 3 runs here late in game number 2. And just like that, the rally goes away. Runs do not score in the 7th. We can figure out later how they did not. But runners at the corners and 1 away become end of rally. And we go bottom 8 now. Fury still chasing 3 runs. And they'll start off their attempts to mount a comeback here with Joe Maurer facing Trevor Hoffman. Winding the pitch. Swung on. Line drive up the middle. That's a single there for Joe Maurer. Gets a nice little golf clap from the fans as they've got a runner aboard here with 2 away in the 8th. And that rally ends. We now go bottom 9, and it's put up or shut up time. Mariano Rivera on to nail this one down for the Senators. The only thing standing between them and a series split heading back to Osgood is Shoeless Joe Jackson at the plate. 1-0 count on Shoeless Joe, the pitch. Ground ball to short. Ozzie Fields over to first in time. The Osgood Senators have come into Detroit and won Game 2. They celebrate out in front of home and have to be happy to be heading back home with a 1-1 series split as they struggled mightily in game number 1. But they come back and win Game 2 5-2. Let's look at the box. Oh man, Coach Ruffy. Coach Ruffy in the chat. Them is fighting words. Them is fighting words. Fenway is a dump like Wrigley and Tiger Stadium was? Man. You're hurting me, man. I mean, I'm not going to stand up for Fenway. I've been there one time, had a great time. But I've been to Wrigley hundreds of times. And I love the simplicity of it. Now, you say it's a dump. Like, you know, maybe the bathrooms aren't as nice as they are in more modern stadiums, although that has been constructed on in the past 5 years. But, like, I don't know what you're complaining about. I mean, Wrigley's not falling apart anymore. You know, 15 years ago, there was the concrete falling from above your head. That's not happening anymore. That's been fixed. You know, the concourses have all been redone. You can definitely tell it's an old ballpark. You can tell it's an old ballpark. But as far as your ability to go somewhere, sit down and watch a game with an incredible, close to the action sightline, like, come on, man. I don't know how you beat Wrigley. Like, when I was a kid, we moved up to the Northeast. I went to Shea Stadium. And we didn't have all the money in the world, so we went and we got cheap tickets. And the upper deck in Shea Stadium was so high, I think the height of it was probably, if you were comparing that to Wrigley, was probably somewhere above the stadium. Above the stanchion. Like, you weren't even, like, watching a ball game. I think Wrigley is a phenomenal place to watch a ball game. And I think that you can... I don't think it deserves the dump moniker at all. I'm definitely biased. But I think that's a hot take. All right. Back to business here. Let's give the Osgood Senators game number 2. Now, what do you guys want? Do you guys want Osgood in our scorebug, or do you want Senators? I'll let you guys pick that out tonight. First one in the chat. Osgood it is. Osgood with an E. Let's see if that fits. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. So Fury take game 1. Osgood takes game 2. We are knotted up heading to Osgood's neutral ballpark. Now, the funny thing is, Tech was not all that dominant at home but Doc really struggled on the road. So what's going to give here? How are these 3 games going to go? Can one team win them all and end the series right then and there? Probably unlikely. Doc not good on the road. Osgood not that good at home. So who's going to take 2 of 3? That is the question. All right. So I promised you guys some statistics, and someone did get it right in the chat. These were our top hitters in Perfect League this week. Shoeless Joe at the top. That's never going to change. I can't imagine that ever changing again, given that the player card base is set. Shoeless Joe will be your best hitter in Perfect from here on out. But number two, we had Barry Bonds with a very, very strong 17 number. Very strong. Barry Bonds beating Ty Cobb. I'd have to go through my records. I don't think he's ever beaten Ty Cobb before. So the funny thing is that Barry Bonds is most often battling with Tris Speaker for that platoon bat out in left field. Maybe he's battling with Tony Gwynn, depending on your setup. And this week, the answer was a resounding Barry Bonds. Let's see what the triple slash was on this. So triple slash on Barry Bonds this week was 243 on the average. No surprise there. 343 on the OBP. That's better than expected. And then 487 on the slug. Third best of all hitters behind only Al Kaline in a short sample and Shoeless Joe. So a absolutely huge week from Barry Bonds. And for those owners that trusted in him and chose him over Tris Speaker, chose him over other lefty bats, they were rewarded handsomely with the production. We see that Tris Speaker, and this is a first. I've never seen this before. Tris Speaker this week was negative. Tris Speaker has gone negative. Has literally never happened since I've been collecting data. Tris Speaker has always been very, very strong. I mean, he's normally in that 10 range, right around 10. Some weeks he flexes up. We've had shows where Tris Speaker is our number 2 hitter. Back in those days, he was behind Cobb, but ahead of Tony Gwynn, ahead of Wade Boggs, ahead of Barry Bonds. But Tris Speaker really had a rough week. Let's see if this trend continues or if it's just a blip in the radar. It's just 2,000 plate appearances here. And I don't look, and I haven't looked at what types of home parks those plate appearances came in. But that's a very eye-catching number from Tris Speaker, someone who's been extremely consistent. And speaking of someone who's been really consistent, right behind him, directly behind him is Roko, Roger Connor. Kind of a ho-hum, not too exciting, but extremely productive and extremely reliable left-handed bat. Roko used to be 360 OBP in the bank. And yeah, maybe you want more homers from first base, but with a decent base running profile and him getting on base all the time, you can't beat him. And this week you could beat him. Roko with an overall negative bat value there. The on base all the way down at 324. The slugging at 392. Roko just bad this week. And I've got a soft spot in my heart for Roko. He's the best card I've ever pulled in a pack. I have never pulled a more valuable card than the day that I pulled Roko. He was worth 290, 300 when I pulled him. And so Roko is a guy. He's my guy. So that was very surprising to see. But someone in the chat had guessed Al Kaline. And Al Kaline is a guy that I love watching because his numbers have been all over the board. From week to week, he's normally around the 1,000, 2,000 plate appearances line. He's not being used a ton. But sometimes when he's used, he returns some sick numbers with the bat. And as we know with the ratings on the cards, Al Kaline's going to be better with the glove, significantly better with the glove than Hank Aaron. He's going to be significantly better with the glove than Joe DiMaggio. He's going to be a better base runner than Joe DiMaggio. So if you happen to roll the dice on K-Line and have it come up on one of the good bat seasons, you are just rolling in production and rolling in profit on that decision. But K-Line this week, let's look at the triple slash here. Once my Excel stops refreshing there. Yeah, Al Kaline, 491 on the slug. 5.4% home runs. A higher home run percent than any other hitter in perfect this week. So Kaline, a very interesting card indeed. We see right below K-Line is Hornsby. Hornsby has actually been very, very solid in recent weeks. Now, I know that across Perfect League, we had a ton of righty cheese this week. We had a ton of lefty cheese. We had a ton of neutral, so it was a pretty good split there. And the PGH Beaches owner, I don't know how to pronounce the name, it's like Wazd, put out a really cool visualization showing the win percentages of our lefty cheesers, our righty cheesers, and our neutrals. And this week, it was definitely more profitable to lefty cheese. As we see a lefty cheese team here in the finals, and we don't see a righty cheese team there. But Hornsby's still with a 10 bat value here. It's a pretty strong week. Are there any hitters that you guys are curious about that you'd like to see either their triple slash, or you want me to scroll down and check out our defensive-oriented hitters? What do you guys want to know about the observed stats in Perfect League this week? Where can I drill in for you? Gary Carter. Don't think he played. Yep, here were the catchers that played this week. We've got Maurer, Campy, Rodriguez, and Johnny Bench. No Gary Carter again. No King Kelly. I don't think there's a King Kelly. Let me scroll down. Yep, no King Kelly. Belanger versus Ozzie. Let's check it out. All right, so we've got 9,000 plate appearances of Ozzie. We've got 3,000 plate appearances of Belanger. And Ozzie the better hitter for sure. So Ozzie at negative 33 batting runs per 600 plate appearances. Belanger at negative 53. So the difference between them with the bat is 21 runs. Really closer to 20 because it's 32.9 for Ozzie. Let's scroll over and see their triple slashes. So Ozzie is this first row here with an OPS of 569. Belanger here is the second row, OPS of 475. Chuck asking about versus left-hand pitching. Let's check it out. So we'll go ahead and flip it and go to versus left here. And we do see that Belanger closes that gap significantly with Ozzie Smith when we just look at the versus left split. So Ozzie versus left at negative 38 batting runs per 600 plate appearances. Mark Belanger versus left at negative 41.9. So pretty negligible difference there. And we know that Belanger is going to return more value with his glove. The challenge being, though, when you set a versus left lineup, you are typically only getting about 50 to 55% of the plate appearances of that lineup versus left-hand pitching. Because 9 times out of 10, that first arm out of the bullpen is going to be right-handed. And given where these guys are hitting in the lineup, they will likely only get 2 plate appearances versus that left-handed starter. Oh, yes, Bailey. Bailey hit the nail on the head. Everyone read what Bailey just said in the chat. Wow. Pop Lloyd is bad. I think we can all agree on that. Pop Lloyd is a god. I don't know what that means. I'll have to Google define a god later. Yeah, Pop Lloyd is a rough hitter, especially versus left. Let's see how he does versus right. He's going to pop up this list a bit. Here you go. So versus right, he actually had a pretty strong week. Only negative 6.8 value on the bat. 274 average. That's pretty strong. 328 OBP. That's better than we normally see from Pop. So he actually had, for him, a very good week with the stick. And then if we put this together, I've got a statistic that's relevant here. So this right here is his total numbers. So Pop right here, -17. And he's almost always run in a platoon. And as we look at his deployment in Perfect League, we see this column here, column with the fave heading. This is what percentage of his at-bats are in a favorable matchup. And so as a left-handed bat, deployed in a strong side platoon against right-handed starting pitching, you do get about 4 out of 5 plate appearances against your preferred handedness. So sure, lefty relievers come in from time to time, and they'll completely zero you out and neutralize you, but about 4 out of every 5 plate appearances when you do platoon him, he's going to be facing a right-handed pitcher. Bailey platooning Lloyd and Wells. Port Dog talking about how clutch Pop is and how often we've seen him be clutch on these streams. Eleanor Frisbee asking why people don't use Yount. So I haven't done a deep dive comparison over the fielding ratings of Yount and Pop. If I had to guess, I would guess that Lloyd's probably got 4 or 5 range on him, whereas Yount's going to pick up other categorical differences in turn double play and arm, etc. But I think that people oftentimes will value that range over the rest. And I think with Yount, now that we have so many other cards in the game, your Rabbit Marinville, your Mark Belanger, your Brooks Robinson, I think that Yount has lost a lot of market share to those guys. Would it be a good idea to train Brooks at shortstop in Perfect League? I would say no. Ideally, you never train anyone in Perfect League. Training in Perfect League is a great way to no longer be in Perfect League. And the reason is that while you're training, your player is horrendous at that position. Like, unbelievably horrendous at the position. Especially if you're starting from scratch. We see Tech 15 in the chat, contributing to the dialogue here as he's setting his lineup. 5 seconds to the sim here. Let's see what we have on tap. So advertised starters for this one. We've got the Detroit Fury showing Schoolboy Rowe, tournament SE card. And then we've got the Osgood Senators flashing up Walter Johnson, who had a great season for him, a 3.68 on the ERA in over 227 innings. Here's what I'd say to you, Dishnet. So Dishnet asked the question, what if you know you're not going to be staying in Perfect League? I would tell you that there is no way to be certain of that. I have often seen teams that don't belong in the playoffs make the playoffs. And it comes down to, getting a good season roll on your Ty Cobb, getting a good season roll on your Rogers Hornsby. Having the league's best Pedro. If you string enough of those high rolls together, then that team that you think doesn't belong, that you go into Perfect League week and just say, oh, I'm happy to be here, let me train some guys, you could be costing yourself a legitimate playoff run. Baseball is still baseball. Randomness is still randomness. And I don't think we've ever seen the 16 best teams make the playoffs in Perfect League. And I think we oftentimes don't see the best of those 16 teams making it to the World Series. So I would say that never assume your team doesn't belong. And maybe there's a caveat there. If you're walking up to Perfect without Cobb, without Shoeless, without Hornsby, without Pedro, yeah, maybe your team doesn't belong. But as long as you've got 85% of the meta pieces, roll them out there. See what happens. I mean, we see the wide variety of observed performance you can see. Like, what if you end up with a Cobb over here? If you end up with a Cobb over here, that's going to cover a lot of the ills that you have on the rest of your roster. So let it ride, baby. That'd be what I'd say. All right, let's get to game 3, guys. First game in Osgood. First game in Osgood, a neutral stadium. This looks to be a stadium modeled after a current Major League stadium. I don't recognize it. So someone hit me in the chat with what stadium this is. Yeah, not ringing a bell for me right now. Seattle. Those West Coast late American League games, not exactly high on a Cubs fan's wish list. But let's get started here. So we've got Pedro on the hill for the Senators. Now, what lineup is Pedro going up against? He's got the same lineup we've seen in games 1 and 2. A ton of left-handed bats. Ton of them. 6 of them to be exact. And then Ozzie's going to bat lefty against him, so call it 7 in this neutral ballpark. And then we see Osgood throwing out more lefties than we've seen at any other game in this series. 5 lefties on his lineup card. But let's get the game started here. Shoeless Joe Jackson will lead off versus Pedro Martinez. The wind and the pitch. Little looper left field. That ball's going to get down. Shoeless Joe Jackson starts this game off with a looping opposite field single to Tony Gwynn in left field. Very next batter is Ty Cobb. Wind and the pitch. That ball's crushed into the right center field gap. It'll one-hop the wall. Shoeless Joe speeding around second, heading to third. Shoeless Joe gets to third. He'll stop there. It's a ringing double from Ty Cobb, really setting up the Detroit Fury to start off Game 3 with a bang. Very next batter, Tony Gwynn. 0-1 count on him, the wind and the pitch. Fly ball center field tracking is the center fielder, makes a grab, but tagging from third is Shoeless. He'll run home and score without a throw as that ball pushed Ken Griffey Jr. 5 or 6 steps back from his standing position. And it's 1-0 Detroit Fury here with 1 out in the first. Bottom 2. We've got historical legend Greg Maddux pitching here in this game. And he's gone 1-2-3 in the first inning. And now will start us off here in the second, facing Rogers Hornsby. The wind and the pitch. That ball belted deep center field. Upper deck shot from Rogers Hornsby. 492 feet off the bat, above the batter's eye. Whoo, boy, he turned around that 88-mile-an-hour slider with authority to straightaway center field. Some fireworks being set off out beyond the bleachers in left field as the Senators fans and faithful love what they're seeing here, as we've now got a tie ball game on a memorable home run off the bat of Rogers Hornsby. Top 3. Still tied up. Detroit Fury have logged 5 hits in this game in the early going, but are at risk of stranding a couple of them here if Hornsby's not able to come through against Pedro Martinez. The wind and the pitch. He walked him. That's going to load him up for Wade Boggs. Now, Wade Boggs was carrying the fire emoji in Game 2. He doesn't have it now. He's got a 2-2 count. Can he come through for the Fury here early in Game 3? Wind and the pitch. Ground ball second base. Easy field, easy catch. That will strand the bases loaded and will head to the bottom of the third. It's tied at 1-1. Top 4. Another highlight here for the Detroit Fury as they've got Mark Belanger on base with a single, a rare single off the bat of Mark Belanger. 6th hit of the game for the Detroit Fury. And Ken Griffey Jr. up at the plate. 1-2 count the pitch. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Belanger gets to second. He's going to try for third. Throw goes all the way through. Not in time. A looping single off the bat of Ken Griffey Jr. to the pull side. Shoeless Joe Jackson quickly fields it, fires to third, but a heads-up base running play by Belanger, able to see early on that that ball was going to get through, and really got into fourth gear around second base and was able to make it all the way to third putting the go-ahead run a short 90 feet away. Up comes Ozzie Smith. It's time for the matchup analyzer. We got to have it here. Anytime Ozzie comes up in crunch time, we got to know what to expect. Ozzie Smith versus right-hand pitching. Pedro Martinez versus left-hand batting. Advantage to the pitcher here. Pedro likely looking for a double play ball here. You'd love to get out of this inning before Shoeless Joe Jackson has an opportunity to say or do anything. 1-0 count on Ozzie. The pitch. Ground ball to second base, to short, one to first, double play! Another stranded runner for the Detroit Fury. Shoeless Joe Jackson, frozen to the on-deck circle, will not have an opportunity to bat in this one, as Ozzie Smith grounds into the twin killing and will end the inning. 7 hits now through 3.5 innings for the Fury and only 1 run. Will those stranded runners come back to bite them? Bottom 4. Senators have visions of taking the lead in this one. Bob Feller into this game for the Fury. So we know Maddox started it. Maddox is gone. In comes Bob Feller, and he is trying to work his way around a jam here. Runners at the corners, 2 away for Nap Lajoie. First to pick off. 1-2 count. The pitch. Swing! And a miss. Strike 3. Huge strikeout from Bob Feller. Giving the Senators some of that same medicine. 2 stranded runners here for the Senators in the 4th. We're still tied up 1-1 as we go to the 5th. Here in the 5th, bottom half, Senators back at the plate. Feller still on the hill. And it appears he has walked an icy cold Ken Griffey Jr. and now faces a tiring Ivan Rodriguez. 3-0 count on Pudge. The pitch. Ball 4. Senators in business here in the 5th inning as Bob Feller has walked the first 2 batters. Up comes Ozzie Smith. You'd love to see a sacrifice bunt here if you're the Senators. The pitch. Ground ball short. He'll field it. Throw to first in time. Belanger had a tough play there. Was unable to get the lead runner at second base, but was able to fire on to first base and get Ozzie Smith. The net of the play will be runners at second and third and 1 away as we flip the lineup card over and bring up Ty Cobb. Doc has ordered the infield in as Ty Cobb bats here. Griffey on third. Not the fastest runner in the world, not the slowest. But Detroit Fury looking to make the play at the plate. 1-2 count on Cobb. Feller on the hill, the pitch. Little looper, right field. Ranging over is Gwynn. He'll make the grab, and the throw will not even come to the plate. The Osgood Senators take the lead on a Ty Cobb sacrifice fly, plating Ken Griffey Jr. 2-1 Senators. We go top 6. Rogers Hornsby up to the dish for the Detroit Fury. Pedro pitching to him. The pitch. Line drive, base hit, right field. That'll be a leadoff single for the Fury as they look to tie this game up and then some. We've got a pinch runner. That's a very, very early pinch runner. So Rogers Hornsby, one of the better bats in a lineup, I believe he was the 5th best bat in Perfect League this week, is now yanked. He's yanked with nobody out here in the 6th inning as Ricky Henderson comes into this game to pinch run for him. I understand the gravity and importance of that run. You just have to wonder about the coming 1 to 2 plate appearances for Hornsby and if that decision by the coach will come back to bite him. A little odd that Henderson has not attempted to steal in the first 4 pitches of this plate appearance. If there's one risk here, it's that Bogg rolls over on one, and then not only do you pull Hornsby out of the game, but your pinch runner is erased in the same process. 3-1 count on Boggs. The pitch. Ball 4. First and second now for Joe Maurer, as Pedro Martinez has himself in a bit of hot water here. Joe Maurer with a 2-1 count on him. The pitch. Little looper, right field and down. Around third is Henderson. He'll stop there. He had to freeze for a beat or two extra to see if that ball would come down, and that prevents him from scoring on the play, but he does move up to third, and they are now loaded as we enter the very defensive-oriented bottom third of the Furies lineup. Will Belanger, Griffey, and Smith be able to plate these runs? We start with Mark Belanger. Pedro has him down on the count 1-2. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike three. Huge strikeout from Pedro Martinez off the light-hitting Belanger. And there's one away. Up next, Griffey. Into the game comes Bob Feller. Crowd on their feet. The pitch. Strike three called. Bob Feller gets Ken Griffey with a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on the black. Make it 2 away. Feller one batter away from a Houdini escape here in the 6th. Ozzie Smith stands between him and a bunch of attaboys in the dugout. The pitch. Luber up the middle, base hit. 1 run will score. Around third comes Boggs. He will score. No! He's out at the plate. An incredible relay gets Boggs at the plate. The Detroit Fury tie the game, but a heads-up rally from Griffey to Ozzie to Ivan Rodriguez ends the inning with a run or with an out on the base paths, which again leaves Shoeless Joe Jackson in the on-deck circle, pining for that opportunity to have an impact. We go bottom 7 now. Look at the scoreboard in the top left. Detroit Fury hanging around with 11 hits and 2 runs. Senators, 2 runs on just 2 hits. Griffey bats here, but not just any Griffey, but an icy cold Griffey. And he'll face Feller the pitch. He walked him. Lead off runner aboard for the Senators here in the 7th. Up next is Pudge. The pitch. Grounder to second. Throw to short, 1 to first, double play. Twin killing off the bat of a tiring Pudge. And now there's 2 outs here in the 7th. Bottom 8, another highlight for the Osgood Senators as they send up Tony Gwynn against Bob Feller. Outfield straight away. 1-1 count the pitch. Looper up the middle, base hit. Single for Tony Gwynn. Puts a runner aboard here in the 8th. Up comes Shoeless Joe Jackson. 1-0 count on him. Senators fans on their feet, looking to spur their team to action here. The pitch. Gwynn trying to steal. No throw. Gets an incredible jump on the play. Joe Maurer unable to get the ball out of his glove. And now we've got the go-ahead run at second base in scoring position. 3-0 count now on Shoeless. The pitch. Ball 4. Perhaps an unintentional, intentional walk, as there's now 2 aboard and 1 away for Hornsby. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout from Bob Feller. And that's going to pin the rest of this rally on Stan Musial, as Feller is 1 strike away from pushing this game, still tied to the 9th. The pitch. Ground ball second base. Fielded by Smith, over to Boggs in time. That ends the inning, ends the rally, and we are all knotted up as we go to the 9th. Top 9 now. Ken Griffey time versus Mariano Rivera. 1-2 count on Griff. The wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. 101 on the gun from Mariano Rivera, as he starts off this 9th inning in style with a forward-facing K. Very next batter, Ozzie Smith, 2-0. Came up with a huge hit earlier in this game. The pitch. Line drive, base hit down the left field line. Gonna go all the way to the wall. Ozzie Smith's got extra bases. It's a 1-out double for Ozzie. And look who's coming up next. There have been 2 moments in this game where Shoeless Joe was in the on-deck circle, looking at the prospect of coming up in a huge moment. The first time, Smith grounded into a double play. Didn't get to bat. The second time, Smith got a base hit, drove home a run. But the second run was thrown out at the plate. And so Jackson's still left in the on-deck circle. Well, he gets his chance now. He gets his chance here in the 9th with Ozzie Smith in scoring position at second base. And a 2-0 count here on Mariano Rivera. Let's use this opportunity to see just how good Shoeless Joe Jackson is versus right-handed pitching. I mean, look at that. In the past 3 seasons in Perfect League, Shoeless Joe Jackson has 24,000 plate appearances. And in those 24,000 plate appearances, he's got a 924 OPS, which is spread with an extremely high average, a great OBP, and an incredible slugging percentage. Shoeless Joe's been waiting all day for this moment. What's he going to do with it? 2-0 count. The pitch. Fly ball right field. Ranging over and making the grab. Runner will not be able to advance. 2 away here in the 9th. Ty Cobb is walked, and then up comes Tony Gwynn. And Rivera is 1 strike away from pushing this to the 9th, still tied. He's got to get through Tony Gwynn to do so. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Fielded at second. No play! No play! A difficult play by Nap Lajoie, ranging to his right, fields it on the backhand. Ty Cobb got an incredible jump off the bat, was able to make it so there was no play at second base, and hustling down the first base line was Tony Gwynn, made it so that a throw was not a good decision there either. It's an infield single for Tony Gwynn, and that's going to extend this inning 1 more batter. I don't know what happened. Looks like he was out. Was there no... It didn't look like there was a throw. Sus Manja's got me in the chat saying he was out. He teleported the ball from second base to first, getting the huge third final out of the inning. Oh, force out at second. Well, either way, we're in the bottom of the 9th now, and the Senators have a chance to walk it off. Still facing Bob Feller of the Detroit Fury. 1-0 count for Lajoie, the pitch. That ball crushed into the left center field gap. 1 hops the wall. Lajoie on his way to second. He'll slide in there with a double. And the winning run for the Osgood Senators is on second base to lead off this 9th inning. Ken Griffey Jr. is walked. Pudge Rodriguez to the plate. Winning run on second. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Huge strikeout from Feller. Goes 99 miles per hour on the gun on the inner half, and Pudge not able to catch up. Up to the game, or up next is Ozzie Smith, but we've got a pinch hitter. Willie Mays steps into the batter's box for Ozzie Smith. The Osgood Senators in Tech 15, sensing that this game is within their grasp here, and are making a play for offense. Let's see what Willie Mays does here. The pitch. Little blooper on the infield fly. Who's going to grab it? It's Jackie Robinson at third, finally making the grab. That's 2 away now. And that brings up Ty Cobb. Into the game comes Liam Hendricks. Ty Cobb needs a single to win it. Lajoie, a decent base runner at second. Ground ball up the middle. Fielded it short. He'll take it to the bag himself. Belanger makes the play. And we are headed to extras. Top 10. We start out with Jackie Robinson. He's still facing Mariano Rivera of the Osgood Senators. The pitch. Fly ball right field. Ranging over his shoeless Joe. He'll put the squeeze on it. 1 up and 1 down. Very next batter, Wade Boggs. Wind in the pitch. That ball's crushed into the left center field gap. It's going to go to the wall. Boggs will head on his way to second. It's a 1-out double. Now, will the Fury pinch run for this slow-footed Boggs? The answer is no. Boggs remains at second. Maurer has now been walked, and he's at first. And for the, I can't even tell you how many times this game, but we've got the bottom third of the order with the responsibility of coming through and pushing across a run. The Fury have scattered 13 hits today and have only 2 runs, and they need 1 here. And they're asking Mark Belanger, the worst hitter in perfect league. The pitch. Strike 3 called. A huge strikeout from Mariano Rivera. It was a full count, a borderline 95-mile-an-hour sinker. He gets the call and retires Belanger, and that's going to bring the fans to their feet. That brings the fans to their feet as they're 1 out away from pushing this again to the bottom of the inning and giving them another chance to walk it off. They just got to get through Griffey. 1-0 count on him. The pitch. Ground ball to first. Makes the play, and that'll do it. Stan Musial grabs it, takes it to the bag himself, and we're going to the bottom of the 10th. Bottom 10, we start with Ricky Henderson. He'll face Liam Hendricks. The pitch. Ground ball up the middle. Tough play. Fields it, throws it. 1 up and 1 down. Great play ranging to his right by Ozzie Smith. Now playing second base. Bottom 10, we've now got 2 away, and up comes Hornsby, facing Liam Hendricks. The wind and the pitch. Up the middle. Long range for Belanger. Makes the grab. That was a ball out to no man's land, but Belanger able to range out into short center field and make the grab. We go top 11. Smith to the plate. Smith has had a pivotal role in this game. He's been on base a lot. He's been at the plate for a lot of highlights. And now he leads off this 11th. The pitch. Ground ball to short. Fielded by Jackie. Throw across. 1 up, 1 down. So we talked about how Osgood's Jackie SE played a lot of positions, and we see that now. Jackie Robinson, special edition, playing shortstop now for the Senators, made that play. 2 outs now for the Fury. Ty Cobb to the plate. 2-2 count on him. Wind and the pitch. Ground ball to third. Fielded, throw. 3 up, 3 down. A perfect top 11 for Mariano Rivera. We go bottom 11. Hendricks still in the game for the Fury. Starting to tax each bullpen here. But he'll lead off this inning facing Stan Musial. Full count on him. Wind and the pitch. He walked him. Leadoff batter aboard for the Senators. Next up, Lajoie, and the Senators fans stay on their feet. Full count on him. The pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Liam Hendricks with a big strikeout to record the first out here in the 11th. Next batter, Ken Griffey Jr. 2-1 count on him. The wind and the pitch. Ground ball to third. Throws it to second. 1. Unable to complete the double play. So they had an extreme shift there on the play. Jackie Robinson, technically the third baseman, makes the play from traditional shortstop. Throws it over to second base. Covering was Mark Belanger, the actual shortstop. But Belanger not able to rip and fire it to first to finish the play. So Griffey will be aboard on the fielder's choice. And then up comes Pudge Rodriguez. And Griffey has advanced to second base. He's either stolen it or he's gone via pass ball or wild pitch. But either way, we've got the game-winning run on second base with Pudge Rodriguez at the plate here in the 11th. Fans on their feet. Ground ball to second base. Pitch, catch, 3 away here in the 11th. Another runner stranded for the Senators here. We go top 12. Leading off for the Fury is Tony Gwynn. Wind and the pitch. Ball 4. Leadoff walk for Tony Gwynn. That brings up Jackie Robinson. 1-1 count, and into the game comes David Price. The pitch. Ground ball to first, to second, one, to first, double play! An unlikely and difficult double play to be turned there. It goes Musial, Jackie Robinson on over to the pitcher covering the bag at first. But a huge play for the Senators to erase what was a leadoff walk. And now Price faces Boggs here, a huge matchup advantage for the Senators. Wind and the pitch. Ground ball to short. Picks it, throws it. 3 up, 3 down for David Price here in the 12th. Bottom 12 now. Mariano Rivera on in relief for the Detroit Fury. And he faces Jackie Robinson's special edition. Full count on him. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. The Senators start this 12th with a leadoff base runner. Very next batter, Ty Cobb, fans on their feet. The pitch. Ground ball to short, to second, one, to first, double play. Incredible show of defense by the duo of Belanger and the Wizard of Oz to erase a very speedy Ty Cobb at first. Ty Cobb's snowflake was weighing him down the entire way to first and could not beat the throw. Now 2 away in the 12th, and the Senators and Fury 1 strike away from pushing this to the 13th. Wind and the pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. We go to 13, up comes Willie Mays. He will face David Price. 2-2 count on him. Wind and the pitch. Ground ball deep to short, long throw in time. Jackie Robinson, not known for his range at the shortstop position, made that play look easy. Now 2 outs in the inning, and up comes Ken Griffey Jr. to face Price. A real tough matchup for the Furies. Griffey the pitch. Little blooper, shallow center. In comes Griffey. He'll make the grab. And another 3 up, 3 down for the Senators, making quick work of the Fury here in extra innings. Bottom 13, still Mo on the mound for the Fury. He'll face a tough shoeless Joe Jackson to lead off this 13th. The wind in the pitch. Ground ball to third. Picks it, throws it, 1 up and 1 down. 2 outs now. Stan Musial to the plate. Infield super shifted. Wind and the pitch. Grounder to first. Makes the play. Makes the throw. Not in time. Some miscommunication at the bag as Boggs and Mo couldn't get on the same page. And with it, Stan Musial's got a 2-out infield hit. That's going to bring up Nap Lajoie, and it's going to bring the fans right back into this one. 2-1 count on Nap. The pitch. Ground ball deep to short. Diving stop. No play. Holds on to the ball. I took an extra beat there to make sure it was actually an infield hit. But Belanger makes a diving play to his right. Looks up, surveys his options, and chooses to eat it. As we've now had 2 infield hits in succession, which bring up Ken Griffey Jr. and a chance to win this ballgame. 1-0 count on Griffey. And it's an icy Griffey. The pitch. Line drive up the middle, base hit! Around third is Musial. Throw to the plate! Not in time! Not in time! Ken Griffey Jr. walks us off in the 13th with a line drive single up the middle, just out of the reach of Mark Belanger, giving the Osgood Senators a 2-1 series lead. What a 13th inning. Mariano Rivera retires the first 2 batters in order. Third batter, Stan Musial, hits the slowest of slow rollers up the first base line. Wade Boggs fields it. He and Mo can't get on the same page, and we end up with a seemingly harmless infield single. From there, We have another infield single from Nap Lajoie. Hits a laser beam to Belanger's right, makes the play, can't make the throw. 2 infield singles set up heroics for Ken Griffey. What a game number 3. We'll set up our score bug here in a minute once we load up our Game 4 sim. What a game that was. All right. So let's set this up. We've got Osgood winning Game 3. Yeah, I checked that Yordle. I checked it. I made sure we're in Game 4. All right, so we're back at Corbett Field for the Senators. We've got a 2-1 series lead for Osgood. And now we've got game number 4 starting. And we'll start with Walter Johnson on the hill for the Senators. We have the Fury rocking out a similar lineup. I believe Ken Griffey goes to the bench for the Fury. On comes Willie Mays for this game. And then for the Osgood Senators, a similar lineup to what we've been seeing. 1-2 count on Shoeless Joe as we get this game number 4 underway. The wind and the pitch. Oh, that's a hit by pitch. Message sent early by the Senators as Shoeless Joe wears that one. An 82-mile-an-hour changeup right between the numbers. 2 away, Shoeless Joe still stapled to first base as Tony Gwynn comes to the plate. The pitch, ground ball to first and base hit. Shoeless Joe around second, heading to third. Gwynn's going to head for extras 2. The relay throw in, and Shoeless is going to try to score! The throw! Not in time! Aggressive base running by the Fury. Shoeless Joe Jackson puts him up 1-0 in this one. Shoeless Joe sending a message right back. You want me to wear one in the first inning? Well, then I'm running through a stop sign, and I'm giving my team a 1-0 lead. How do you like that? We go bottom 2. Schoolboy Rowe on the hill for the Fury. Facing Stan Musial. Base running hero from game number 3. And he now bats with Hornsby aboard and nobody out. The pitch. Ground ball to second, to short 1, to first, double play. Clockwork double play for the tandem of legend Jackie and Ozzie Smith. We go top 3 now, another highlight for the Fury, as Walter Johnson will face Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn came up with a big RBI double in the first inning. The wind and the pitch. That ball's crushed to the left center field gap. That's going to go for extras. Tony Gwynn on his way to second. He's not going to stop there. Running all the way to third. He'll slide in with a 2-out triple. The Fury showing a ferocious appetite for extra bases here tonight as Gwynn takes one there. We go bottom 4. We've got the Fury's Pedro Martinez on, and he's facing Shoeless Joe of the Senators. Tony Gwynn aboard, 1 away. The pitch. That ball's crushed into the left center field gap. Down the left field line. Shoeless Joe gets the second, and they're going to try to score. Gwynn around third. He'll score here. Make it 1-1 as the Senators have tied it up here in the 4th. Bottom 6 now. Still tied at 1. Senators trying to untie it, and they send up Ty Cobb. First to pickoff throw, checking on Ozzie Smith. Runner back, but runner does take second base. Looks like he advances on a fielder's choice as Ty Cobb is now retired. But we've got 1 away, and now Gwynn at the plate. The pitch. Ground ball, base hit, right field. Around third, Ozzie. He's going to try to score. The throw from Gwynn, not in time. Make it 2-1 Senators as Tony Gwynn comes through in the clutch. And Ozzie Smith cuts the corner at third aggressively and is able to beat the throw from Tony Gwynn. Full count now. Gwynn still at first. Hornsby at the plate. 2 away. The pitch. That ball belted deep left center, off the wall. Around third is Gwynn. He's going to score. Heading to third is Hornsby. That's a 2-out RBI triple for Rogers Hornsby, and the Senators now lead 3-1. Fast forward time. Jump us all the way to the ninth, and we've got David Price into this game to close it out. David Price versus Joe Maurer. Sure would love it if you had a better matchup than this if you're the Detroit Fury. As Joe Maurer versus left is not the prettiest picture, but you might need to save that pinch hit bat if and when Belanger comes up in this inning. But Maurer will look to get aboard. Here the pitch. Ground ball third base. Fielded deep in the hole. Across and in time. The Osgood Senators win Game 4 3-1 in a pitcher's duel. We knew coming into this series that both of these runs, or both of these teams, were pitching centric. They were both better in run prevention than they were in run scoring. And we see a game that belies that ethos here in game number 4. We'll look at the box score as we update our score bug. So Osgood now leads 3-1. They've taken 3 straight games and are looking to close this baby out at home in 5. Now let's look at the box score from 4 and see what we can glean. Osgood rolled out Walter Johnson, and he was fantastic. 7 innings pitched. Only 5 hits, only 1 walk, only 1 earned run. We see that Osgood's Walter Johnson is rocking a 1.59 ERA in the postseason. We'll take a quick peek at those games, and we see a starter that is entirely locked in. Facing marksman, 8 innings of 1 earned. Facing the Bingos, 8 innings of 2 earned in the first start, and then a second start versus the Bingos where he goes 5 1/3, only giving up 1. And then now we see this excellent gem pitched here in the World Series. Hoffman and Price finish out the game. Over on the Detroit side, we have Schoolboy Rowe perfect through 9 hitters. And then into the game comes stuff-boosted Pedro Martinez, and he just was not able to perform. Gives up 3 earned runs in 3 innings, giving up 5 hits in the process, despite striking out 5. And then Tex Houston finishes out the game, just like Schoolboy Rowe started it, with a dominant 7-batter appearance, but the damage had already been done. So the stakes couldn't be higher. Stakes could not be higher here for game number 5. We are either going to have the Detroit Fury winning this one and pushing it back to Detroit, where they are a 700-plus team this year. 691, the win percentage at home for the Detroit Fury. So if they can win this game 5, they tap into their strength. And then we'll see if they can win 2 on the back end at their home park, which their team is architected for. Or we're going to have the Osgood Senators winning game 5, sweeping all 3 of their home games and crowning themselves perfect league champion of the week. We shall see what happens as the sim spins now. So let's take this moment and let's ask the chat if we've got any Diamond League winners in the chat. And I'm most curious to hear about the DLL Diamond League because your kidneys, our kidneys, everyone's kidneys, as of last check, was in the finals, and I don't know if he won or if he lost. So I'm very curious to hear if Kidneys is making his first ever appearance in the Perfect League next week, or if he lost to Susmanja. Mac Jacks with an entirely non-descriptive double emote of Kidneys. Buddha-man mirroring it. I'm going to need someone to be explicit. That would suggest to me that he won, but that could also be trolling. Kidneys carving through 9 Perfect League titles to his first DLL ship. Let's get some cheer for that. You know what? Not that cheer. Let's do this cheer instead. Your Kidneys has been grinding this game for months. He has situated himself in a league with a bunch of monsters and great teams to have to deal with. And it sounds as though he gets to pop the cork on some Diamond League champagne for the first time tonight, coming back from an 0-2 series deficit. So congratulations to your Kidneys. I think there's many people out there that are rooting for you to succeed next week in the Perfect League. And shoot, we'd love to see you on this broadcast next week if a couple things bounce your way. Extreme UW wins Diamond 366. Congrats to you, man. That's awesome. You're heading on to Perfect League. Let's see you make some noise next week. How about you versus Kidneys in the finals? Dishnet not heading to Perfect League. Dishnet had the courage to saddle up in the DLL League this week, and I think you held yourself pretty well. I think you ended up with a decent record. Port Dog's heading back. He'll be up here next week. I'm going to go ahead and log out, log back in just to make sure we didn't miss a sim. We ran really, really long on our extra base, or our extra inning game number 3. And so I just want to make sure we didn't miss a sim returning. Nope, we are still at 3-1. A yodel named Leo wants to get to Perfect at least one more time before PT22. You were here for 1 week, months ago, and got slapped around a little bit. That's okay, it happens to everybody. Happens to a lot of people, at least. I know my first time to Perfect, as you can see here on your screen, was a 94 loss 2042 season. But I learned some things. Figured out some roster holes that needed to be plugged, and then I was able to have a nice little run in Perfect from then on. King Butcher 19 won his first gold title. Maurer was the key. World Series MVP. Gabagoo Luigi made the playoffs. Heck yeah. I mean, whatever is the next step for you, celebrate that. If you have been stuck in gold forever and you make it to diamond, celebrate it. If you've been on the gold diamond struggle bus elevator where you go up and down and you finally get to the playoffs in diamond for the first time, celebrate that. It's all about incremental improvement. Figure out where you haven't been yet and then try to get there. And when you do, pop the champagne. All right. We've got a sim. We've got a Game 5 sim waiting for us. Let's see what's in store. As we know the stakes, Osgood and Tech are trying to become the first team ever to win titles with multiple teams. Doc is trying to push this series back to Detroit, where his team was darn near unbeatable all season long. Let's get started, and we're getting started with Roger Clemens as the starting pitcher for the Senators here tonight. He'll face Shoeless Joe to get things started. The wind and the pitch. Strike three called. Roger Clemens starts game one in style with a strikeout of the all-dangerous Shoeless Joe Jackson. We go bottom one now. Into the game for the Fury, Warren Spahn as the starter in this one. Or seemingly the starter. Could very well be our first reliever here, given that we've got so many left-handed bats in the lineup. But he's facing Rogers Hornsby here, and he's in a little bit of trouble. Ty Cobb at third. Tony Gwynn at first, only one away. The pitch. Ground ball to third. To second, one to first, double play! A huge double play for Warren Spahn. Gets him out of the first inning with no damage. We head to the second, still tied at 0. Top two. Clemens facing Willie Mays. Gwynn aboard as the leadoff hitter. The pitch. Ground ball to short, to second, one, to first, double play. Our second twin killing in this game, and we're not even getting into the bottom second yet. Now we're in the bottom of the second. We've got Roy Campanella at the plate. Facing Warren Spahn, 2 aboard. Nap Lajoie on second, Willie Mays on second. Or on first. The pitch. Line drive base hit to right field. Fielded by Gwynn. Coming up, throwing to the plate. Now Lajoie runs through a stop sign, and he is thrown out at home. A very aggressive base running maneuver from Nap Lajoie, and he was dead to rights there. As Tony Gwynn fields that ball on 2 hops, crow hops to the plate, fires a strike to Joe Maurer. Maurer has it, was able to have a sandwich, and then apply the tag to Nap Lajoie, and the Senators have run themselves into an out here in the second. And they end up not scoring in the second. Will that base running blunder cost them? We shall find out, but first, Clemens still on the hill working a shutout for the Senators, and he faces Ty Cobb here in the 6th. The wind and the pitch. That ball belted deep right field. Gone! Ty Cobb unties it. 1-0 Fury. Still 1-0. Gwynn looking to add to it. Hornsby aboard, 1 away. The pitch. Little looper, base hit. Hornsby had to hold up to make sure that ball would drop. It does. And now they're runners at first and second and 1 away. And Willie Mays to the dish. Now we know that Doc swapped out Griffey for Willie Mays. Let's see if that move pays dividends here. The pitch. Fly ball right center. Trailing out there is Shoeless Joe. He'll make the grab, but advancing from second to third is Hornsby. 2 away now here in the 6th. Wade Boggs to the plate. The last hope for the Fury for this rally here in the 6th. First pickoff throw. Another pickoff throw. 3-1 count on Boggs. The pitch, and he walked him. Feller playing with fire here in the 6th. He brings up Joe Maurer, but he is 1 strike away from getting out of this jam. The crowd to their feet. 2-2 count on Maurer. A world of danger here. Senators trying to keep this game at a 1-run deficit. Maurer trying to blow it wide open. The pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Bob Feller spins up a 75-mile-an-hour curve, and Maurer swings right through it. that gets the Senators out of the inning. The Detroit Fury strand 3. Bottom 6. Curt Schilling into the game for the Fury, facing Tony Gwynn. 3-0 count. The pitch. He walked him. Fire Gwynn has started this 6th with a leadoff walk. Up comes Shoeless Joe, 2-2. The pitch. That ball's crushed to right field. Ranging over and making the grab is Tony Gwynn. 1 away. Bottom 7 now. Nothing doing there in that bottom 6 rally started by the Gwynn walk. But here we have 1 out, and Nap Lajoie trying to start something in the bottom of the 7th. Schilling still on the mound, the pitch. That ball crushed into the left center field, or the left field corner. Nap Lajoie around first, he'll head to second. A stand-up double for Lajoie, and the tying run is aboard. Willie Mays at the plate, fans stay on their feet, the pitch. Ground ball to third, deep in the hole, long throw, makes it, and retires Willie Mays for the 2nd out. Rogers Hornsby ranged left and back to get the right hop on that chopper. Fields the play, makes the throw, 2 away. And now the Fury are just Roy Campanella away from getting out of trouble here in the 7th. The pitch. Looper to center, ranging in and making the grab is Willie Mays. That is the 3rd out, and so the Fury retain their lead as we head to the 8th. Here in the top of the 8th, we've got Pudge Rodriguez into the game for defense, and he's facing Hal Newhouser here. The pitch. Little dinker, tough play, fields it, throws it, not in time. Infield single. Ozzie Smith charged that one as fast as he could, fielded it and threw it in one motion. Didn't get a ton on the throw, and Ivan Rodriguez able to beat it out. That's a 1-out single there for the Fury as they are desperately seeking some insurance runs to protect that 1-run lead. Full count on Mays. The pitch. Up the middle, base hit! Just over the head of Lajoie. But Pudge runs through a stop sign and runs into an out at third base. An aggressive base running play by a slow base runner, running on the excellent arm of Willie Mays out in center. Not an advised play. And the Fury have run into an out here late as they pursue that insurance run in the 8th. Bottom 8 now. Senators still trying to figure out this Fury pitching staff. They've scattered 7 hits, but have not been able to dent the score sheet. This inning could be their best chance. They'll start with Ozzie Smith, but very quickly we get into the meat of the order. Ty Cobb, Tony Gwynn, Shoeless Joe Jackson, all waiting for their chance to be the hero. Let's start with Ozzie Smith. Schilling still on the mound, the pitch. Little ground ball, fielded by Belanger, throw to first in time. 1 up and 1 down as they retire Ozzie Smith on a little fisted ground ball. Ty Cobb, very next batter. 3-1 count on him. The wind and the pitch. Ball 4. Ty Cobb is aboard. A very fast base runner, a very aggressive base runner. That gets the fans back into this one as we've got Fire Tony Gwynn down 0-2 in the count. The pitch. Line drive, base hit to right field. Ty Cobb gets the second. He'll stop there. But 2 aboard and 1 away as Shoeless Joe steps to the plate. As you can see in the bottom right corner of your screen, these are the best hitters in perfect. And guess who's at the top? Shoeless Joe Jackson. By far the best hitter in perfect. And the game and maybe even the series rides on him right now. 1 out, 2 runners aboard. Fury nursing a 1-run lead. Full count. The pitch. Line drive up the middle. fielded it short. Unable to make a play. Belanger gets it and just holds on to the ball. Due to infield shifting, Nap Lajoie not in position, or Ozzie Smith not in position to cover second base for the short throw. And Shoeless Joe too fast for Belanger to make the play all the way to first. This is now the third infield hit that the Fury have had to watch happen in late and clutch situations in this series. Now the bases are loaded. Rogers Hornsby to the plate. Infield drawn in. Looking to get Cobb at home. The game and the series on the line here. 2-2 count on Hornsby. The pitch. Ground ball to second. To home. They get it there on the first double play. An unbelievable 4-2-3 double play, ending the inning. Getting the Fury out of trouble. Curt Schilling fist pumping his way to the dugout as he Houdinis himself out of this eighth inning. An incredible turn of events. The Fury work around the infield single and push this game to the ninth, still maintaining the one-run lead. In the top of the ninth, the Fury would just be elated to find any sort of insurance run before heading to the bottom half. They'll send up Jackie Robinson against Hal Newhouser to find the pitch. Deep fly ball center field. Heading back and jumping and dropping it is Willie Mays. Jackie motors around. He'll end up at second base on the misplay from Willie Mays. He ranged back, thought he could make a leap for it, could not. Gets over his head, but still able to corral it before Jackie is able to pick up the third base on the play. But either way you slice it, you've got Jackie now in scoring position with Ozzie Smith and Shoeless Joe due up. Well, the run doesn't score. We don't know why, we don't know how, but we know it doesn't score. And so it's Curt Schilling on to close out this game and to push us to Detroit. The first thing he'll have to do is get through an icy cold Stan Musial, who he's got down on the count 1-2. The wind and the pitch. Ground ball first base. Fielded by Boggs. Takes it to the bag himself. One up and one down. Up next, Nap Lajoie. He's got a full count on him. Wind and the pitch. He walked him. Nap Lajoie gets on board. Represents the tying run. Strolling to the plate representing the winning run is Willie Mays. We've got a pinch runner. Willie Mays comes into the game for Lajoie. He steals second base. So we now have the tying run in scoring position as Willie Mays will bat here in the bottom of the ninth. One out here. Schilling trying to hero ball this ninth inning and push the Fury back to Detroit with a chance to win this series. The Senators trying to end it here. 1-2 count on Mays. The pitch. Swung on, belted. Deep left field. That ball's out of here. Willie Mays has walked off the 2068 World Series for the Osgood Senators. Unbelievable turn of events. Touch of ball, Willie. The Fury just could not find that insurance run all game long. They pitched around jam after jam. But in the ninth inning, Willie Mays took things into his own hands and makes Tech 15 a two-time Perfect League winner with a Joe Carter-esque walk-off home run in the bottom of the ninth inning. Unbelievable turn of events. You see the win expectancy chart there, and it reflects just what we saw here tonight. Curt Schilling, who Houdini'd his way out of trouble in the eighth, was not able to turn the same trick in the ninth. As we look at how it unfolded, Doc sequenced Spahn and Schilling. Spahn went 3. Was able to dance between raindrops, spreading around 6 hits without giving up a run. Handed the game over to Schilling, who was extremely efficient, only needing 77 pitches to get through 5 1/3 innings until that fateful home run sealed the deal. On the Osgood side of the fence, we had Clemens with a solid start, 5 2/3, only giving up 1. Feller able to come in, get the last out in the 6th, and then get through the 7th himself. And then Hal Newhouser, able to dodge some 3 hits over 2 innings pitched, setting up Willie Mays to be the hero that he was. Unbelievable turn of events. Tech 15, a 2-time champion. Our World Series MVP is Tony Gwynn. He batted .444 in the series, had 8 hits. That's the wrong Tony Gwynn. This Tony Gwynn batted .688 in the series, 11 hits and 16 at-bats, 2 ribbies, and OPS over 1.5. Yeah, I'm not sure how Willie Mays doesn't win that one. That's a very disciplined MVP voting group there, to not vote for the guy who hits the come from behind walk-off series winning homer. But .688 in the series from Tony Gwynn. Fury couldn't get him out. And with that, the Senators win the World Series. Kudos to both of our teams tonight. The Detroit Fury, an excellent and well-managed team. Saw some things tonight they didn't want to see. We had the sequence of infield hits end up being a huge factor in one game. We had Pudge Rodriguez running into an out that could have been an insurance run in Game 5. But the Fury worked their way here. They can work their way back here next week as they still seek that first Perfect League title. Now for the Osgood Senators, again, we are seeing a first here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. This is the first time a single winner has won the Perfect League with 2 different teams. Tech has gone to the Perfect League World Series 4 times with his Ottawa Hammerheads. He's won it once with them. And tonight, now for the first time, he got to the World Series with his Osgood Senators and is 1-for-1 and now a 2-time Perfect League champion. So kudos to Tech. Be on the lookout for him next week. I shared a division with Tech and did not enjoy it. Let's take one final look at our playoff tree as we give a round of applause for all of the teams that competed in today's Perfect League playoffs. So congrats to our 2 teams tonight. Congrats to all 16 teams that made the playoffs and will be residents of Perfect League next week. Congrats to the 24 teams, 1 for each Diamond League, that is heading on up to take the places of teams that were relegated this week, like myself. This will conclude the Perfect League broadcast for this evening. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you for being part of the broadcast. Thank you for bringing the energy and the heat tonight. And we'll see you next week.